Now, for more on this, we are being joined by Dr. Malcolm Davis, a senior analyst in defence strategy and capability at the Australian Strategic Policy Institute, joining us from Canberra. Thank you for being with us. Now, what could be the possible reason for the attack? We have seen a history of ISIS-K attacks on Russia, but this certainly is a dramatic escalation.
Well, I think your lead-in kind of summed it up quite well. I think that this is just the latest in a series of attacks done by ISIS-K against the Russians. It highlights the fact that it is a complex world. On the one hand, the Russians are assisting the Iranians, who are also involved in terrorism via Hamas and Hezbollah. Islamic State in general is more involved in that regard. But then again, you've got Islamic State, ISIS-K, attacking the Russians. So I think that it demonstrates how complex the security situation is in that part of the world. And clearly the Russians need to be concerned, not just in terms of the war in Ukraine, but also the potential risks of Islamist terrorism coming from areas such as Dagestan and Chechnya and so forth.
Absolutely. And Doctor, you've just touched on it. What, if any, could there be an effect from this on the war in Ukraine?
Well, I think this is the key issue. Obviously the attack is tragic. The loss of lives are tragic. But it is how Putin exploits this in terms of justifying a general mobilization, perhaps even a declaration of war. And one of his aides, Peskov, just the other day said that the war in Ukraine isn't actually a war now. It's not a special military operation. So that's a step towards the Russians being able to essentially declare war, undertake a general mobilization, and bring in a large number of additional men to fight at the front line in Ukraine. The Russians are trying to push the Ukrainians back. They are steadily advancing as the Ukrainians run low on ammunition. They're probing for areas to break through and to really essentially break out and advance rapidly in an offensive in the rear area. They need a lot more manpower. So this terrorist attack could potentially give Putin the justification to launch a general mobilization and call up large numbers of additional troops or manpower that he could then throw into the front line.
All right. Doctor, thank you very much for being with us on this broadcast and your valued insights there.
Thank you.
For latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.